Well, today I'm going to do another review of a stud finder, a microprocessor based stud finder. This particular one is from a company called Nulksen, and I'll put the ad from Amazon down below so you can take a look at it more carefully. This is probably very, very similar based upon what I read to the one that I did maybe about a year ago, also microprocessor based. However, one thing you'll notice about this one, it's at a fantastic price right now, especially with the holidays coming up. It's something you might be interested in. So let me open this up, see what it comes with, and we'll take it from there. Okay, opening up the box, it's got a little user manual in there. I'll take a quick look at that and make sure that it has some interesting things that I can follow. It has the stud finder itself, and very good, they've included the 9-volt battery. That's something that's very unusual these days in some of these electronic equipment. That's a big plus. If I take it out of its wrapper, what do I got? Very similar. Looks like I'll need a screwdriver to actually take the little cover off and put the battery in. Good, it's not wired, it's actually connectors in it. We just got to make sure the plus and the minus are hooked up properly. And there we go. Let's see what happens when I turn this on. It looks like this little red one is the indicator for power. Comes on. It's got the little button on the side here. Seems to work. Let me go ahead now and do some testing of it. Stick around till the end of the video and I'll actually do a comparison of this one to the last one that I reviewed. I still have it in a box over here on the left. So we'll see how it compares up. For reference before I start the testing, if you peel back the outer layer of a wall, usually called a sheetrock, this is what you'd see inside. A combination of vertical studs, maybe some cross studs, pipes, different size pipes in this case, and also electrical wires. Okay, for purposes of this illustration and this test, I actually built a wall. I have regular wall studs in here. They're 2x3s. And I have regular sheetrock, 3/8 inch. And I even have a pipe over here, 5/8 of an inch copper pipe that's over on this side here. So let me turn this around and do the testing. Now the two stud finders, this is the one I did about a year ago, the Tavul, and this is the one that I'm reviewing here, which is the Nulksen. They are very similar in terms of their features. Big differences are one button on the Tavul for both power on and for changing the mode. This one has a button for power on, which is also the button for changing the wood mode. That's all it does, power on, power off, or wood mode. A separate button for beams, metal beams of any sort, metal piping. There's only one mode to that, and a separate one for electrical. Again, only one mode for that. Now this one does have 3 levels of wood. So it has 1/2 inch depth, the standard, because most of the sheetrock is only about 1/2 inch deep, so that's the one you would normally use. Then it has 1 inch deep, and then it has a deep mode, 1.5 inch. Whereas this one, on the wood, it has a regular depth, and then what they call deep depth. That's what's indicated in the LCD here. So now let me go ahead and test both of these on this wall. So you go to an area where there's no stud, and I can tell with this one because I built it. You'll have to pretty much tap on it or guess where the stud might be. Keep in mind they are 16 inches apart normally. So let's go to regular depth wood. And what you do, once you set the mode, then you hold this little button here on the side down while holding against the wall and let it program. You see the thing going down, then it'll beep. Now it's programmed. You can take your finger off the button, and now you can move it over, and there. When it sees an arrow, that's where it believes the center is. You go back to the other way. Same thing. It says the center is right here. And if I keep going, let's see what it does with the pipe. So let me try pipe. Let me zero it again first. Now it shows pipe. So I had to zero for pipe separately. Now let's go over and see if it finds the pipe. It does not see it. Well, there's a reason for that. The pipe is not there. Let's go to the other side. There it is. It senses the pipe over here. And guess what? this is where the pipe is at, right over here. So it does show that it works. Let me try the other one. Let me try the Tavool. Let me put it on wood first. It's a button on the other side here, by the way, on that one. Let's zero it. I didn't hear a beep. Let me go down a little bit. Well, let's see if it finds them. It sees the pipe over there. It did not see the stud. So I must have this thing not zeroed or something. I have it on electrical. Let me change the mode back to wood. Let me zero it on wood. Still didn't beep. Let me come over to this side where I know there's a wood over here. There. It sees the wood right where it's at over here. Good. Let's go over here to this one. And it sees the wood right there where it's at. It's having a little bit of trouble finding it, but it did find it. Let me change it to pipe. Okay, it's now on pipe. Let me zero it again. Notice how you only zero it, then you can take your finger off the button. This one does not give you the pipe indicator. So let's see if it senses the pipe. It did see it. It does see the pipe. I had to zero it a second time, but it keeps buzzing. It doesn't stop buzzing. Let me turn it off. So those are the two, the comparison. I can tell you right off the bat, I like this one better. This one I've used for studs successfully many, many times, and it gave me no trouble. I never really used it to try to isolate a pipe. And that's why I wanted to put a pipe in here in order for us to see what it would do. Here's the top of the board here. And you can see I have a stud here. I have a cross stud here. I put that intentionally there to try to fool it. And then over at this end here, I have the pipe. I did not put an electrical wire here to test that part of the device, but you can take my word for it that it does sense electrical wires. Now, keep in mind it's not anywhere near as accurate as how it senses the other types of things, like the pipes or the studs. Well, what'd you think? That was pretty interesting. I was a little bit surprised by how well this thing did. Compared to the other one, I thought it was going to be basically the same thing, and the only advantage would have been the price difference, because this one is probably about 30% cheaper than this one is. And based upon the test I just did, it did much better. About the only thing I would complain about is it's a bit big. It could be a little bit thinner. You know, this one was more in line with the size that I was happy with, and I've used it many times. Also, the display. It's brighter on this one than it is on this one, and there's no way to adjust it. But other than that, this is going to be my new go-to. By the way, full disclosure, I did get this as a free review sample. I would return it to them if they're interested. I don't want to keep products, but if they don't, then I may use it in future videos. Maybe some more changes to my studio here. Something to keep in mind with the holidays coming up. I know that I will, because the cost of this is so much cheaper than this one, as you'll see if you follow the link I have down below.